Hello, hope y'all are all doing very well. It's March 1st. Today I'm going to be talking about a potential severe weather outbreak, or I guess a likely severe weather outbreak that we're going to be looking at really starting tonight and going all the way till Friday. And also going to be talking about the winter weather side of things. I hope y'all are all doing very good. It's Wednesday. And let's go ahead and get started. So looking at this is our day one convective outlook. This is valid from pretty much right now until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have an enhanced risk for a good portion of southern and central Arkansas, all the way over into areas of northern Mississippi and southwestern Tennessee. And with that, we have a 10 sig tornado risk across the areas of northern Mississippi, southern Tennessee, and southeastern Arkansas. We have a 30 sig wind threat and a 30 sig hail threat. So actually, we do have a pretty high hail threat. Looking at what we have going on right now, so we have several severe thunderstorm warnings, but I really want to pay attention to is these tornado warnings. So we're looking at northeastern Alabama, or northwestern Alabama, northeastern Mississippi. Huntsville's right there. Memphis is over here. Kind of give you an idea. And we're seeing three kind of, or really like, this is a very clear supercell right here. This is kind of a little more messy storm mode up here, but we're looking at three tornado warnings right now. And it definitely looks like we have some very tight rotation of both of these storms. It looks like this is a supercell here. It's just an embedded kind of blob of an HP supercell there. Yeah, we can see the. I want to take a look at CC. It does not appear like we have CC drops that are like blatant with this, but that does not mean we don't have a tornado on the ground. Well, yes, that's what we have going on in this area. And then let's switch back to reflectivity, and I want to zoom over towards the Memphis and into Arkansas. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in northern Mississippi here. And it looks like we have a hailer over near the Little Rock area, actually. Oh, yeah, so we can see we have some storms in the Little Rock area producing a lot of MP reports of like quarter-sized hail, half-inch hail. Okay. But yeah, so we can see that. Yeah, let's play the radar out here and see how it's kind of moving. So that storm is the one that produced that hail. Okay. Yes, that storm definitely has some hail with it. We can see that bad boy is like 70 DVZs pretty much, but I mean that doesn't mean much, but definitely has some hail, which is also kind of why we have that hail potential. Even up in this area here, which I talked about yesterday, where we could be looking at storms kind of firing further north. We are seeing some action, severe thunderstorm warning in Kentucky here, near Lawrenceburg, with some reports of pea-sized hail with that, and up into the Cincinnati area, we did have a lot of reports of hail. So. Yeah, now out of radar scope. That is pretty much tonight. Now I want to talk about what we're going to be looking at for the rest of tonight. So we can see all these storms kind of propagate eastward through Arkansas, northern Michigan, or northern Maine. Not Maine. I'm saying every state that begins with an M. It's Mississippi. Okay, but we can see those storms propagate eastward. We take a sounding. And yeah, I mean, we'd still... Let me get up one that's not contaminated. It's so hard to get a sounding that's not contaminated. Sometimes I wish I could take box soundings, but I gotta get Pivotal Weather Plus again. I just didn't. I kind of stopped paying for it just because I was starting to pay for a weather bell, and you know, with school and stuff, I don't exactly. I'm not making a lot of money, so but I'm making a little more now just because I'm older, so I can probably pay for both of them. But with this sounding here, we can see a decent shear profiles. Definitely, you're gonna see a damaging wind threat out of this, as well as some hail. Leading to that hail threat. And then as we go throughout tonight, we kind of have a line slowly dying southward. I'm pretty sure it just dives straight into the warm front. If I'm correct here, because it that looks like the warm front right there. And so, I mean, that kind of destroys it as it moves into like the Atlanta area. But maybe some gusty winds as far south as like northern Alabama, northwestern Georgia. Those areas where it was a little further south in the marginal before, but now it's not the case. Even in the western North Carolina, we could see some stronger storm winds. Take a sounding at 09Z in Alabama. We can see where that is right there. And we have, I mean, not a lot of instability. We lack instability at this time, but shear profiles and stuff, DK, we're still supportive of a little bit of damaging wind. Hail threat will have, of course, gone down. We're just going to be looking at a gusty line of storms, I think. Yeah, I want to kind of see. So is that the warm front that this... So we just see that kind of dive south, kind of create, of course, a nice cold pocket across Georgia and eastern Alabama. And then, yeah, it does seem like Yeah, I think it just dives straight into the warm front. Let's go to the Weather Prediction Center real quick. Okay, it doesn't dive straight in the warm front, I guess. Or it kind of does. It's not really attached. It kind of just goes out in front of the... Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. But we do see a warm front bring just widespread precip tomorrow across multiple areas of the southeast. So you can see, yeah, I mean, clearly have kind of a ruined environment in this area tomorrow, which we're going to talk about tomorrow in just a second. In fact, we're going to talk about tomorrow right now. So tomorrow we have a moderate risk over in Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, southwestern Arkansas, northwest Louisiana. I saw this area yesterday being like our area of highest tornado potential. I did not mention the fact that we are going to see a 15 sig. I think I said 10 sig in that area. But we do have a 15 sig tornado risk, 45 sig wind threat, and a 30 sig hail threat. So enhanced for hail. We have an enhanced risk for hail, a moderate risk for wind, and a moderate risk for tornadoes. So pretty interesting. I want to zoom specifically down into that area real quick, so we can see what we could be looking at tomorrow. So tomorrow is looking like a pretty significant day, severe weather-wise. I might try to live stream tomorrow. But yeah, so we see already, or not already, this is actually pretty late in the afternoon. This is like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., not late, but we're already looking at storms going on. We can see, take a sounding. The shear profiles are, what? Okay. They're interesting, I guess. We have plenty of instability, though. Instability is good. Not much wrong with the sounding. Definitely going to see a high damaging wind threat as well as a pretty significant hail threat. And then, when I said thinking about tomorrow, is literally all threats are possible. Now back into Texas, we can see, I mean, a lot of these soundings aren't really depicting the best shear profiles for tornadoes. This is kind of weird here, but you could get something out of that. Just weird. And then as we go throughout, tomorrow night, we could still see even more storms initiate. And actually, the environment looks slightly better at this time, like this late at night. We're starting to see those more classic shear profiles, but then we start to see capping issues and stuff because it's overnight. So we just see we tend to see more capping overnight, but generally the shear is the best kind of throughout this corridor here, which leads to our 15 sig and stuff. But then, I mean, even further south and stuff where we have better thermodynamics and stuff, greater values of instability, that's where we're really going to see. Could see more stuff in that area as well. It's kind of something that will give us a really good idea of what we're looking at is this photograph stuff here. So 22Z tomorrow. We're looking at our highest instability located in this area. It looks like we just have a pool of cooler air in that area, or just disturbed stable air. But our best looking hodos are in this area here. I mean, back over here we would see that tornado threat still. When we take a sounding, okay. Yeah, you would see a tornado threat out of this, but it's not as high as further east. But the issue is over there we lack certain things. But look at this, 05Z, okay, as we're seeing that front push through. The actual warm fronts, I think, is a lot further north. But we take a sounding in northern Louisiana. I think it's in our moderate risk. And these shear profiles are excellent. The issue is we start to see problems with capping and stuff. So hopefully what we're not looking at tomorrow is just a slowly dying line. Or actually, I guess hopefully that's what we see, because that'd be the best case scenario. Which kind of is what the HRRR indicates as a dying line. This due to capping and other issues as we go into the early Friday morning. I mean, actually, especially the southern part of the line, that just dies quickly. So I mean, it kind of is a balance once again. I think I talked about this yesterday in Georgia. It's kind of a balance of where we can see everything. But here we go. This sound is sounding over in the eastern Texas area. This is excellent. Why does that just pop up every time? I mean, it's been popping up for actually 3 weeks. Every time I turn on my computer, and it comes on at random times. But yeah, so the shear profiles here are actually very good. I mean, I can definitely see why you get easy 10 sig out of this sounding here. Thermodynamics everything is okay. Got plenty of instability. But yeah, so I mean, you would even see a tornado threat in that area as well. Further west, so it kind of just depends. But if we see what the HRRR has with these supercells in this area, then I definitely think we could be looking at more of a tornado threat in this area. And then as we go throughout the night further east, we just see really just a QLCS spamming tornadoes as it dies. That's kind of what we're looking at now, in my opinion. Now over into the southeast. Okay, so the southeast is a little more kind of hard to forecast with this, just because it's in Georgia. Okay, first of all, and every event in Georgia every event at least that like affects northern Georgia just doesn't do what it's expected to do. Which I'm not gonna say what I think this event's just gonna do, because that probably won't be good. But we have a large slight risk across much of the southeast. But yeah, so Friday. Okay, first of all, the HRRR indicates like literally no storms, because this reminds me of May 6th last year. Okay, there's people talking about this on Twitter and stuff about how May 6th last. This reminds me of it. It reminds me of it too. Okay, we see literally just we see a good environment for stuff, but then we just see no breeze. I mean, we just see nothing because of dry air, and also just issues with everything. When we have all this rain in the morning, that's just gonna ruin everything across areas of like Georgia, South Carolina. We just don't see anything, barely see anything. So that's something to kind of watch here. Take a sounding though. If we can see storms, like this is near Washington, Georgia, yeah. I mean, if we can see storms though, the shear profiles are good, the HODA is good. I mean, in my opinion, this would be like an upper end 5% sounding tornado wise. It's a pretty good sounding. But then we just like what is this? And then we have issues with. We have some issues with capping, but I mean, if we can get storms to go off, which I guess the HRRR is not doing too bad, it does indicate some storms. But if we can get storms, then we could be looking at some interesting stuff in that area. Now further north, in Tennessee and Kentucky, earlier why is that so contaminated? Why are these contaminated? Okay, I don't understand why these soundings are contaminated, but we're taking them so far in front of the storm. So yeah, so this will give us an idea. We're looking at like really just a dynamic upper level driven like storms that really aren't. There's practically no instability further north. According to the HRRR, but we can see plenty of moisture just pushing out of there. We're kind of going to see like some forced storms. And then, of course, in the southeast, we do see. Actually, I'm surprised we don't see a wedge, to be honest. I thought we'd see just like, because of the morning rain, I thought we'd just see like a bunch of 50-degree dew points stretching in that area. But no, we don't actually. Okay. So yeah, I mean, maybe this won't be like what we always have seen in the southeast recently, where we just get not the southeast. I'm sorry, like because the south, like okay, so this area here has been like performing like very good severe weather-wise recently. We've had many tornadoes, which isn't good, but we've had a good bit of severe weather. And then as you go further north, and it's been trash. Like last year, I know here last year in northeast Georgia was. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had the least amount of warnings. Or not really warnings. I think I've had the least amount of watches I've ever had since like you can go back, which I think is 2000. It was a terrible year for any severe weather. Literally, we did not have one severe storm last year, or really even one like strong storm. But I mean, maybe we could get something. But generally, Friday looks kind of to the point where if we can get storms to go off, especially like further south in this area here, or like even slightly further south than that, I think we could see like a decent tornado threat, even into South Carolina and stuff. So yeah, that is the severe weather side of things. Now looking at winter weather. So I want to go ahead and just do that. Okay, now we have the entire run to look at here. So starting Friday morning, we're starting to see some snow mixing in the Kansas area. I don't want that. Kansas area into areas of northern Missouri. Just a big shield of moderate to heavy rain, pretty much. And then as we go throughout the day, Friday, as that rain moves in, we just see heavy snow mixes in Kansas City, many areas of central Missouri, central Illinois. So this is even further south than what we were talking about last night. Last night I was talking about like the center of the axis of the GFS being like that. I think the European was like this. This is far south. Like we're looking at Peoria getting pretty decent snow, Bloomington, Illinois. We're looking at much of northern Indiana, southern Michigan, and then even into the northeast, which we'll talk about in just a second, getting snow. And then even by Friday evening, we're looking at the snow moving into Michigan, northern Illinois, or northern Indiana, moving out of Illinois. But real quick, we can take a look at like total snowfall accumulations further west, because this area here is pretty much done. I mean, we could be looking at several inches across Missouri, much of like central Missouri, northern Missouri, central Illinois, big winter storm in some areas, maybe even a foot according to the HRRR. Now, just for comparison, we go to the NAM 3, which doesn't go out far enough. Let's go back to the latest run, or to the previous run. It's a little further north, so we'll see what happens. But good chance if you live there's a very good chance if you live in this area of Missouri or like that, that area there, you're gonna get a big winter, like a decent winter storm from this. I don't wanna like really this area here, and then like this area here, there's good confidence you're gonna see some like a good bit of snow. But then it's a little further north. But even like areas of like Peoria, Chicago get a ton of snow from this. And then you go up into Michigan, like more central Michigan. It gets impacted with that. So pretty interesting to see what will happen with this, if we'll see more of a HRRR solution or an AM3 solution. But either way, we're going to be looking at some significant snowfall accumulations across, areas of Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Now over into the Northeast, which is a little different area, I guess you could say, because we're looking at, like I said yesterday, we're just looking at like a wintry mess in the Northeast. So you see a little bit of like a system Thursday, tomorrow, that brings some snow to areas like Michigan, New Hampshire, or not Michigan, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. That's out by Friday morning. Then we have our next system coming in. By Friday afternoon, we're looking at our warm front pushing into some snow and sleet in PA, New Jersey, and then see that push north, and we see more precip. And then overnight, Friday night and the Saturday morning, we look at a mess of sleet across New York, areas of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, and a mess of snow further north. And then we can see that sleet line just pushes even further north. And then going over to the NAM 12, which this doesn't go out, I have to go back now to the 18Z. We do see a decent little winter storm for areas of New England when all is said and done. With total snowfall accumulations, which you do have a bunch of snow showers afterwards, so we could add even a few inches to this, but a good swath of over a foot of snow potentially in some areas, or about a foot of snow. So good to see the GFS somewhat agrees, but actually like 24 inches in northern Massachusetts, so the GFS is different. European is similar to the NAM, so I kind of bet on that happening a little more than what the GFS has, but definitely going to be looking at a big winter storm for some areas in the Northeast, from areas of Vermont, New Hampshire, southern Maine, upstate, really like northern New York, northern Massachusetts, even down into Connecticut. We could be looking at a couple inches of snow, and southeastern New York. So yeah, thank y'all for watching the video. That's all I got. I hope y'all have an excellent day tomorrow. I'll either be back tomorrow or Friday. But yes, goodbye.